What's up, fellow keepers? Today we're going to go over how to set up a cage for baby chameleons. Okay, so we've got our finished cage, and again, it's got this great little zipper in the front so you can open up, feed, look at your chameleon, get your chameleon if you need, but this cage is ready to go. All right, to start, you're gonna need a cage, some foliage for the chameleon to feel secure. I like to use live plants, which you can see over here. I use pothos, ficus, and umbrella plants. You'll want to have branches for climbing on. Manzanita branches are best. Lighting to include proper UVB and a basking heat source, and then a source of water. This can be a spray bottle, a drip canister, or a misting system, and finally a timer system to control your lights. So for the cage, we recommend using a butterfly cage for baby chameleons because the mesh is super fine and will keep the food that you need to feed the babies inside the cage. Regular chameleon cages have screens with larger holes that fruit flies and pinhead crickets can escape out of. So you can use any butterfly cage, but I suggest using this one. This one's great because it's large enough so that you can keep your chameleon in it for about the first year, depending on how fast it grows, and it's cheap. I'll leave an Amazon link in the description below. Okay, so I've got this fully built cage right here, and as you can see, it's got a great little front zip here so that you can get into the front to access your chameleon and feed it and everything like that. And then on the side, we've got this big zipper that goes from the bottom all the way up to the side and the top. So this will really help you, pull plants out or make adjustments within inside the cage. And then on this other side, you've got clear viewing area that you can use to look through instead of the mesh. This zipper side makes it really easy to make adjustments to the cage and take your plants and put them in and out, as well as branches. Sometimes it's hard to get full-size branches in, but this thing unzips and makes it really easy. The build quality is good. It's PVC and comes in a tiny little box like this. And it's cheap and it's great. You can have it in direct sunlight if you want. It will degrade after a while, but it's only about $30, so that's not really a big problem. Okay, let's get some plants and branches to fill the inside of the cage. So I'm going to start with my ficus plant here. This is a Benjamin ficus. This is great for especially babies, but all chameleons. It's going to grow. It does well with the lights and inside the cage with the chameleon. So this is the first chameleon safe plant that we can use, and we're just going to find a nice little corner to put this guy into. And then I also have a pothos plant here. This is a really popular indoor plant and it's also chameleon safe, and these are great. I really like these. As it grows, you can see this one's a little bit short, but as it grows you can create vines and have the vines go up and down inside the cage. So we're just going to place this in a corner as well. And then I've also got umbrella plant. So this is the third plant here that you can use that's chameleon safe. And you can get these at your local Home Depot or Lowe's store. But again, umbrella plant, this one's got a nice sturdy base frame for going into. And we're gonna put this in the other corner. So I've got branches in the back right corner, or a plant in the back right corner, back left corner, and then in the front. So there's plenty of room for these to grow and get bigger. And we've also got some manzanita branches. So this is the manzanita branch here, and this one as well. These ones are a bit weathered because I've had them for a while. But we want to place this, and you want to place it in a way that it's going to be under where your heat source is going to be. So the plants are going to be more under the UVB light, and then your manzanita branches under the heat source. So you have your heat source up here, and then the chameleons can just, you know, hang out on the branches and absorb that heat. So we'll get this put inside, and you can kind of poke the manzanita branch down into the pot of the live plants. That works great to kind of stabilize them. And then I like to make sure that there's branches kind of going in different directions, you know, from one corner to the other corner, so that way there's plenty of room for your chameleon to walk around and kind of explore things. So I'll get this in here. And then you can kind of see here, we've got branches throughout the cage, and they can go up and down throughout the cage. Now that we have our plants and some branches in the cage, we need to go over lighting. Lighting is very important for chameleons. So a lot of kits are going to sell you a UVB light, and it's one of those swirly little bulbs that would fit in a little light holder like this. That is not good enough. You need to have a T5 or a T8 light source for UVB. I like to use T5, so I've got this little one here. It's a 5.0 Zoomed, and you want to elevate these lights off of the cage, but this cage does have the PVC frame, so you could put it on top of the cage. And then you also want to do a heat source, because chameleons, what they're going to do is they're going to walk up to the top of the branches to get close to the sun, to absorb heat and sunlight when they're cold, and then when they're nice and warm, they'll go back down towards the middle of the cage to kind of cool off, and you'll see them go up and down, up and down. So we've got the lamp holder, and then I've got a basking lamp in here. I start off with 25 watts and then go from there. If you need more heat, you can go up to 50, but it's better to start off with the lower wattage than with the higher wattage, because your chameleon can get underneath the basking light and then end up burning themselves because they don't realize that it's too hot for them. So make sure that you start lower and then work your way up. Use a temperature sensor to figure out your basking spot and the temperature of the basking spot, and adjust as needed. And for your lights, I like to use just a digital controller that I got off of Amazon that you can see here. You can plug your lights into it. You're going to do 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 8 to 8, you know, depending on what you want. Just 12 on, 12 off, and a simple little digital timer like this works perfectly. Lastly, we need to provide a water source, because chameleons don't drink from water dishes. You need to use a misting system or a dripper, or even just a mister. So I like to use a misting system. So I've got here a Mist King. It's a pump. It comes with a bunch of tubing and some nozzles and like T-fittings and 90-degree angles. So you can set up multiple cages. You set up a water source that you hook up to one end of the pump, and then your nozzles hook up to the other end, and then you can set a schedule so it can go on for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. The Mist King is expensive, but it works really, really well. The other possibility is a drip system, where you've got a tub of water that's got like a tiny little hole poked into it, and it constantly drips water just throughout the day. I personally don't like doing that because you end up with a lot of water at the bottom of the cage. With the misting system, I have it go on for 30 seconds a few times throughout the day, and that helps keep humidity up, and then provide enough water for the chameleon to drink off of. If you don't want to buy a full-blown misting system like the Mist King, which is pretty expensive, then all you have to do is go to your local hardware store, and they sell those little canisters that's got the pump on it and then a hose on the end, so you can fill it with water, pump it up, and then just spray the inside of the cage a couple of times to the day, you know, maybe in the morning before you go to work, and then when you get home you can spray it down. You just need to make sure that the chameleon realizes, you know, oh, it's raining, you know, so let me go drink some water. Okay, so we've got our finished cage, and again, it's got this great little zipper in the front so you can open up, feed, you know, look at your chameleon, get your chameleon if you need. But this cage is ready to go. We've got our plants and we've got branches so that the chameleon has things to walk on. We've got our basking lamp on top, and then our proper UVB, and I have the Mist King system, so I would be using that. And that's about it. You know, now all you need is just a chameleon and some food, and have fun keeping your chameleons.